Welcome to Courtside Moms. I'm your host, Wendy Sparks. Today, my guest is Johnetta Walker, mother of Megan Walker of the Phoenix Mercury. We have so much to talk about, so let's bring Johnetta on the show. So welcome, Johnetta, to Courtside Moms. I am so blessed to have you here with me today, and we're going to discuss your daughter, Megan Walker.
Yeah, Megan.
Yes. I love it. I love the passion as mom, right? We're just feeling it. I just love it. So let's talk about her playing basketball, where she started at the age of 5, such a tender age. What piqued her interest about the sport at that time?
Well, she has an older brother and a cousin that my son and my nephew are around the same age.
Okay.
And my husband, he would coach their basketball team. It was a rec league. And Megan would love to go to the games. And when I wouldn't allow her to go, because if it was late, I didn't allow her to go, she would have a fit and she would cry. And I would have to go and let her stay for just a little while, and get her home and ready for bed. But that's where her interest sparked, watching the two, brothers. We call them brothers, but actually it's a nephew and then the brother.
Right.
Watching the two brothers play basketball.
That's amazing. So at that time, is that when she became really serious and wanted to actually play on a team? Or was it just what she watched?
Yeah, she watched it and she asked me, she said, Mommy, can I play somewhere? So I looked around because she was so young.
Yeah.
And I found a team at the YMCA and it was called the Peewee League. And of course, I think she was the only girl when we started. And she would always beat the boys down the court because, she was used to dribbling down the court, because she had watched it with my son and my nephew. So she would always beat them down the court. And then I think like the second season, they had a couple more girls. But she was always the one who would beat everybody down the court and would know what to do because she had watched basketball for so long.
Right. So basketball, I mean, at such a young age, it starts to become serious, especially when you're playing organized basketball. But did you want to just make sure that when she's playing, yes, it's serious, but at the same time, were you concerned that she wasn't really having kid fun?
I think she was having fun, but she enjoyed it. She looked forward to her game. So she was actually enjoying it. And she got serious about it. She actually played baseball with the boys when she was younger. And then she moved up to softball. So she was doing both of the sports at the same time.
Right.
And she was really, really good in softball. And she was really, really good in basketball. So it came a time where the practices were conflicting, the games were conflicting. So she had to make a decision on which sport that she wanted to pursue.
Right.
And she decided to, of course, to pursue basketball.
Wow. And that's good because at that age, sometimes it's hard for kids to make a decision, right? I want to play it all. I want to become a Major League Baseball player. You know what I mean? I want to become, I don't know, a soccer player. And I want to become all these wonderful things because like when you're 5 or 6 or 7, you can do anything, right? You just think that's what you're going to be. So I can't imagine a little child finally having to make a decision and say, okay, you have to choose one. And obviously she saw the value more in basketball than the other stuff, the other sports she played. So now moving forward, let's go to high school. Where did she attend and what was it like to be a female athlete while attending school there?
So she attended it was a high school, but it wasn't her assigned high school because where we live in Virginia, according to your boundaries in the county, you would go to a certain high school. She didn't go to the high school she was assigned to. She actually applied and got accepted into a specialty program. It was the physical therapy program. And she played basketball at that high school. It was called Monacan High School. So when she got there, everybody knew about Megan because she was in middle school. While she was in middle school, she carried her middle school team to their first state championship. So of course, everybody was familiar with Megan. She enjoyed high school. She stayed busy. She carried her team to 3 state championships. In the first one, that was her freshman year, they made it to the quarterfinals. So she vowed the next year that, the team and her, they vowed that, they would take it further the next year, the next year, and the next year. So they called it the three-peat. Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, they called it the three-peat.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
It was really exciting.
And did you get to attend a lot of the games? And what were they like for you?
Oh, yeah. We were at all of the games, and it was so funny. We would try to have our assigned seats that we were going to sit. But if we didn't get there in time, somebody else would take them. And it was really exciting because the games would always be packed. And we would meet so many people, and they said, "Oh, we traveled here to see Megan. We came to see Megan." And when the game was over, it was like lines of people who would want to take pictures with Megan.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. It was just incredible. It was just such happiness, to see her play her game and to see fans love her as they did.
Yeah, yeah. I love how you said you used to have a special seat that you want to sit. It's like church,
Yeah.
You're like, no. The first 4 pews is us. Like you're so used to sitting there. That's amazing. When I used to go watch my son too, there was always a particular part of the arena that I would want to sit in, and when I couldn't sit there, it was just a different game.
Yeah.
Wasn't the same. I would watch it, but I'd be disgruntled just because I couldn't sit in Wendy's seat, 18,000 places to sit. I had to sit in my chair. So at what point now did she start getting recognition and recruited for college ball? And how did the two of you approach choosing between the schools that showed interest in her?
Her recruiting started in 7th grade.
Wow.
Actually, yeah. There would be college coaches at her middle school games. And it got really serious 9th grade. They had open gym, I think their first practices. And it was about 10 college coaches there watching Megan. And of course, her coach was just ecstatic. He didn't know how to handle it. He was just a nervous wreck. So it was really fun. We met a lot of wonderful coaches. We met a lot of people. We just kind of just took everything in.
Yeah.
Pros and cons. Just, took our time and, helped Megan make the decision, and we supported her decision.
Yeah. At that time, did you have any resources? Because I can imagine as this is new, and a lot of families, they just don't know who to ask or where to go. Sometimes you ask the coach, but sometimes for coaches, it's new. You know what I mean? Like they coach for 10, 15 years, but then they never have a student or an athlete who actually can progress to a higher level. So now you sort of got to look for, where do I go? Who do I ask? So did you have resources that you were able to trust, first of all, to help you guys as a family make decisions?
Yes, we did. We had some veteran players that played in the WNBA that mentored Megan. And we had a dear family friend, John Lucas, a dear family friend. Of course, we had Megan's AAU coach, Boo Williams, and his staff. So we had a multitude of people that we could lean on and for support and get their advice and ask questions.
Yeah. See, and that's a blessing because the programs and the people you named, they have knowledge in this field, right? And not everybody really has that that opportunity to actually get the right advice, right? Sometimes you just have somebody who says, well, I've coached somebody for 3 years. I think this is a good idea. And it's such a big step, right? When you're trying to find the right school for your child and then moving forward. So the ultimate choice was UConn. Tell us why she wanted to play for the Huskies.
She felt, that was, around good players. Of course, the coaching staff. Megan would also always say, she said, yeah, coach really knows basketball. She would always say, she said, coach really knows basketball. So that was basically her reason.
Of course. And at that point, now she's really taking it serious. You probably saw her future in basketball. So for her, she recognized, like, hold on a second, I need to find someone who can really coach me and move me forward, which makes her a good all-around athlete, right?
Yeah.
An athlete who wants to listen and wants to learn because she actually sees this in her future. So let's talk about her time as a Husky and how does she impact the game, in your opinion, of course?
Okay, her first year was a learning curve, her first year. So her sophomore year, her feet were wet. You can put it like that.
Yeah.
She got her feet wet. Then her junior year, she turned it up. So she played her game. She was impactful for the team. They all played together. They won some really big games. And of course, they didn't win some games. But I think she did well. She was excited about her play and, what was going on there at UConn.
Right. So during her years at UConn, she started getting a lot of attention once again, but this time for the possibility of her playing WNBA. And that dream just started probably becoming more of a reality. So walk us through that big decision to leave school early, which is not normal for a female athlete.
Well, she was eligible because of her age. She was turning 21 in that calendar year.
Right.
And, we talked about it as a family, and she felt that it was a dream of hers, to play in the W. And she felt that if she had the opportunity, she wanted to take that opportunity because she didn't know what the next year was going to bring her. She felt like she was healthy, with some training, she could, improve her game. So she decided to take the leap. And of course, we supported her.
So leaving school early for a female athlete, I can only imagine the type of criticism that, I can, as you said it, I'm like, oh yeah. So what type of criticism did you get for her making that decision? And how did you guys as a family deal with that?
Well, there was a lot of criticism about her leaving. Some said that she wasn't ready, she should stay. And what we did, we just tuned it out. We decided as a family that, you've made your decision. Now you need to go and put your best foot forward. Don't think about what others are going to, what others say. People always have something to say. So you've made your mind up and you just go at it. You go as hard as you can. Don't think about what they say. So, we supported her in that, and, it happened.
You know what? I love the fact that as a parent, you saw the vision. Because a lot of times, as parents, you hear what people say and you're like, okay, you know what? Maybe we should wait. Maybe you should change it. You get pulled in different directions because the criticism that our kids get and the criticism that we get as parents sometimes are a little bit different. Right? You know what I mean? Oh, you're a bad parent because you're not letting your child get their degree. And they have no idea what the story is, right? No one knows the ins and outs. So I love how you, as a mom, as a parent, you're saying, you know what? No, this is what my daughter wants. And we're going to work towards making this work, as opposed to listening to the peanut gallery of the people who, their children probably don't play basketball.
Right.
They're probably... have no degrees. They don't understand the fact that she can go back to school anytime she's ready and she chooses. So I just love the fact that you guys just said, no, this is our vision and we're moving forward with that.
Right.
So how did the school, UConn, support you with that?
They were supportive. They are letting Megan take classes.
Right.
And she just finished one class this summer. So they're letting her take classes, to complete her degree. So we're supportive. Of course, they would have loved for her to stay.
Yeah.
But, it was Megan's vision, to move it up a level and go to the W.
Good for her. Mm-hmm. So she left UConn and then shortly after COVID hit and just changed everything. So talk a little bit about that time for her, because it must have been discouraging at one point. She's like, I'm ready to do this. And wait, now we can't.
Yeah. When she was about to leave to go to the bubble, she had to get those COVID tests. So she had 2. And then the third one, it was positive, no symptoms or anything. And of course, she was here at the home with us. She just, we just couldn't believe it. I was like, what? She said, yes, it's positive. So what she did, we didn't have a basketball goal because we had already taken that down. So we went out and purchased another basketball goal and we put it together for her. So Megan would go out in the driveway with her mask on and shoot, practice, shoot, practice. So she could stay, in shape for whenever she was ready to go, to the bubble. And she would have her trainer do some virtual training with her. So while she was still at home, couldn't go to the bubble, she was still working on her game. And we just admired that so much. We would have our neighbors come outside on the porch and look and just in awe of Megan working on her game while she was, had COVID and wasn't able to be with her team.
Wow. I love the fact that she still kept focused. She's like, I'm going to make it and I'm going to get there. So let's back up a bit, though, for her timeline when she declared for the WNBA draft. How did she prepare herself, first of all, to become a pro player?
She still worked out. She did what was necessary in the gym. She stayed in the gym, weights and practices and everything. That was basically it because, being at UConn and being on the basketball plan that UConn has, you're always in shape. Believe me, you're always in shape. So she just stuck to that, her routine, her diet. She actually changed her diet while she was at UConn. And she slimmed down a little bit. This is my dog right here, wants to get up here.
He wants to talk about Megan too? That's okay.
Yeah, well, you can't come up. Her diet. She actually changed her diet and she slimmed down. And to this day, she's still on her meal prep plan.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. She's very serious about it.
Well, good. So she's following through. So she understands, like, no, for me to remain a pro athlete, I have to keep my body, my temple in shape. I have to keep my mind right. There's all these different things that she has to maintain to remain as Megan Walker, the athlete. So now I just want to know all about draft night for you and your family. I mean, it was a little bit different because there was COVID. You did it at home. So tell us all about that night for you.
Oh, it was amazing. Well, actually, let's back it up a little bit. How about draft week?
Oh, let's do it.
It was very busy, a lot of planning.
Yeah.
Everything came in full circle. So it was really busy that week, with her talking to W staff, different teams, having meetings with them, ESPN sending information, having meetings, getting her wardrobe. Because I don't know if you know or not, but Megan loves to dress and Megan loves to cook.
Awesome.
So those are her 2 things that she loves to do. She's a great cook and she loves to dress. So, getting her wardrobe straight, just preparing, and then by the time draft night came, I think I might have conked out probably about 1. Yeah, I think I conked out at about one, but it was very exciting. Megan was excited. We took plenty of pictures, videos. It was just exciting. Even though it was COVID, we had a few close friends over, like her trainer and, family members. We didn't have a lot of people over, but it was really, really nice and we enjoyed it.
So I watched your video of your draft night and I just loved it. You guys were just rejoicing. You were just feeling so blessed. And I'm just looking at her sitting there in her, I guess, goldish yellow outfit. Yeah. And she's like, shh, hold on, wait, hold on. And I loved it. And just the anticipation of everybody waiting. Where's she going? Where's she going? Who's going to call her name? And then I see her reach over, put her hat on. And you can see her just like, it's here. Like, oh my God, it's here. This moment is here. So she was drafted 9th overall to the New York Liberty. Amen. And how are you feeling during that moment, though? Once you heard her name called, tell us, yes.
My baby. Yeah, it was really exciting. I know she was excited. My husband was excited. We were just so excited that Megan, had fulfilled her dream, to become a WNBA player. She had worked so hard, to become a WNBA player. So we were just ecstatic, to witness that.
Was it what you expected?
The draft?
Yeah.
As far as hers being chosen, the team?
Sure. Like, what did you guys expect? Or what were you hoping for, I should say?
As far as the team?
Yeah.
No, we didn't. Megan connected with New York. So however Megan felt, that's what we supported her on.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's like it doesn't matter. You just want your child to get drafted.
Yeah, to get drafted and for her, to be excited and to be ready to roll.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's important. I'm just picturing the video and everybody's jumping for joy and stuff. And it's just making me think, I wish all job interviews or, you know what I mean? Or choices, you know what I mean? Like we're like that. I wish I can go for a job, I don't know, at the hotel across the street. And I can invite my family over and they figure Wendy Sparks, she's chosen. Everybody's jumping for joy. Like, you know what I mean? It's just so different. Yeah. I just love it. I love draft night and I love watching people be happy. And I love, like this year I watched, just recently we watched the NBA draft, and just to see people whose kids have been drafted 10 years ago, but just to see people jump on board and start watching it and then just sharing. And then we were talking about WNBA and talking about NBA and just talking about how different it is now. But now people are realizing how this really is big. It really does change your life and it changes your child's life. You know what I mean? So it's just nice to see people this year to say, hey, you know what? Let's just all be happy for everybody. So now that your daughter, now that she became a pro athlete, what changed for you as a family? Or if anything changed?
Not too much change. We were used to traveling with Megan and we're still traveling with Megan. We're still supporting Megan. And it seems like we're always busy. I'm always busy doing something for Megan, but as far as things changing, no, nothing has really, really changed a lot. It's just, we're still busy.
And I ask that because I want people to understand that even though our kids play pro athletes, we're still the same. You're still Johnetta. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's right. And people think, oh, your child is an athlete now and you guys must do this. I'm like, no, I did the same thing last Tuesday that I did 3 Tuesdays ago or 10 years ago. That's right. You're still Johnetta Walker. Doesn't matter. Like,
and it's Megan had a basketball camp that she did. Yeah, that she hosted about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And it was amazing. We were busy planning that, and it was about probably about 74 girls there, and they enjoyed it. So they are looking forward to next year. So that was something that Megan did, and to give back to her community. She had it at her high school.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was really, really nice.
I love that because she's showing girls that basketball does exist. You know what I mean? It does exist for us because when you think basketball, a lot of times you think NBA, you know, NCAA men, you don't really think girls. So I love the fact that she's like, nope, I'm empowering you guys because all 74 of you can be in my shoes one day and play for whoever you're playing for, which is awesome. So good for her. Good for her for empowering all these girls. So let's talk about her transition from UConn to the WNBA. How did she transition? Like, what did she do now to fit now as a pro player?
Well, it's different. She would always tell me it's different from college to the W, because when you're in college, you're kind of on the team schedule.
Yeah.
In the W, you're on your own schedule. You know, you have your own meals. If you want to get up some more shots, you do that on your time. You have to be at the gym. You have to make sure that you get yourself up on time to, you know, be at the gym and ready for practice. Whereas at UConn, it was like they were given a schedule. 10 o'clock, you do this. 10:30, you do that. You know, they had a team schedule. But in the W, you have your own schedule. Yeah. You know, you're responsible for yourself. Yeah. And Megan did well with that because, you know, she's a responsible, you know, mature basketball player, you know. So she had no problems with that.
You're just reminding me of when my son first started playing in the NBA. And it was the same situation. I'll never forget that his team came actually to Toronto, and they were playing the very next day. So the Magic were playing the Raptors, and I was calling my son and say, "Hey, let's go have breakfast." But in my mind, I was like, "Okay, what do you have to ask him? What time?" And like you're saying, you know what I mean? I was so used to his schedule being you know, made for him. And he used to tell me, I only have a window of this and this time. And he had to ask permission. Can I go see my mom? Where this time he just came down to the lobby. He's like, let's go. And it was new for me too, right? So it's funny you're saying that because I'm like, it's so true. He was like, and he told me, he says, Mom, I do what I want. I just have to make sure that I'm back for the bus at X time because it's game night, right? So it is true. And I guess sometimes it's an adjustment for us as parents too, right? Because we get so used to what they were doing before. So in the essence, it's an adjustment for us too. So it doesn't only change for the player, it changes for us, right?
Yeah,
So she was a rookie who needed to adjust to what was going on because she did eventually make it to the bubble, correct? Right. So now, or the wubble, I should say.
Yeah,
so now now she's in the wubble. She's a rookie. She missed part of, I guess, the beginning of the season. She has to get in there. She has to perform just from off being sick. You had the Black Lives Matter platform there. You had the Say Her Name movement, all that Megan had to face and deal with. So how did that have an impact on her in addition to being expected to play up to par?
It was a lot. And I think she handled it well because she was used to handling a lot of stuff going on at UConn.
Okay.
You know, UConn really helped her to adapt to the W because, you know, at UConn, they're busy doing this, doing that. So I think she handled it well. That, you know, she didn't have any issues or anything.
Okay, so she was able to accept, because I understand the wobble's a little bit different than what she would have normally been, right? Now you're stuck in this one location and...
They had to ride the bikes. They had bikes that they had to ride, you know, back and forth to wherever they needed to go. She had roommates, and she was, she had fun with her roommates. She would call and say, "Oh yeah, we're fixing pancakes this morning." So, they would have fun, or she'll say, "Oh, we're going on a bike ride." It was like 10 o'clock at night. She's like, "Oh yeah, we're going on a bike ride now." So, she had fun being in the Wubble. It was, always, in that contained area.
That's right.
So she handled it well.
Good. So during that time, the WNBA games were televised. What was it like for you now as a mom to see your daughter put on her New York Liberty uniform and showcase her skills that got her there in the first place?
Exciting. Yeah, we were excited. I think the first game that was televised, I think we had like a little get together, and we invited her trainer and a couple of other friends. So we had a little watch party.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we had a watch party, but it was always exciting to, watch the game. Even if Megan didn't get in the game, it was exciting to see her sit there with her jersey on with her team.
So as a rookie, like you're saying, she didn't get in a few games. What was that like for her mentally as a player? Because she knows, like, I'm a good player. I'm capable of doing this, this, this. However, now she's sitting down and she's not playing as much as she did, just say, at UConn. How did that impact her?
She always said, "I'm just going to stay ready." She said, "I'm going to be ready. Whenever they call me to go in, I'm just going to be ready." She said, "I'm going to watch, what happens on the court. So when they call me to go in the game, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to stay ready."
Absolutely. Like I always say, better to be ready than to have to get ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing sometimes to not get right in the game. I don't know basketball a lot, but I've always said it's good to watch something happen so you can know when it's your turn what you're expected to do.
Yeah. That's a great philosophy, because it helps you be better prepared for that particular situation. So, and I used to say that to my son too. Sometimes it's not so bad just sitting there, because you're learning. You're learning. You know what I mean? You're learning. You actually see what's happening. You see it unfold in front of you, and you're like, "Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Maybe if we had done this, it could have been different, or whatever." And then you could just get out there and do it better, right? So Megan also went overseas. She went to Hungary. So what was that like for her?
COVID had it shut down. We weren't able to go over there because of COVID. They had a curfew every night, because of COVID.
That's right.
So they basically could only go to practices, to the gym, to their games and everything. So actually, sometimes she would say, she watched a lot of Netflix. She binged a lot on, her television shows. They would practice, go to the gym. So it was a lot of downtime. But, they would have, fun with their teammates, but it was a lot of downtime. They were just they were in a wubble,
Yeah.
There was a wubble there too.
Yeah.
But she enjoyed her team. She, enjoyed her teammates. She had fun, so I think it was a good experience.
Did she miss home more just because she can't get out there and really experience the country? She couldn't probably really see much because, like you said, it was to the gym, you play your game and you get back. Yes, you can hang with your teammates and stuff, but it probably wasn't out in the open and out in the public and learning about Hungary as she probably would have liked to. I mean, so many people, a lot of women players, they get so much opportunity to go overseas and be a part of these cultures, but yet here your baby, she's there, and it's like, no.
Yeah, she did. She missed her home. She missed home. She missed us. We would always FaceTime, and her time was 6 hours ahead.
Yeah.
So when I used to get her FaceTime calls at 3 a.m, my 3 is I'm asleep.
Yep.
Her 9 is she's been awake for a while. So it was like, I always would get the 1, 2, 3, and 4, 4 o'clock in the morning calls, FaceTime calls from her. And of course I loved it, So yeah, she did miss us. And, I would always answer her FaceTime calls, every time she called because, she was away from home, she was there alone and, they were in the wubble. So, it was my pleasure and, to answer her calls and talk with her and then try to get back to sleep. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, my son played overseas too. So he would call.
Got those calls too, huh?
Mm-hmm. Like you said, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And it's funny because normally we would get those calls when they were living with us. And you're worried, oh my God, who's calling? We're thinking something happening. You know what I mean? And then now they're overseas and it would startle me every single time he would call at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I would say, hello. And he's like, hi.
Yeah,
hey. God. Yeah. And I was thinking, he always says, you sleep? No.
Yeah.
And we would talk for an hour about nothing.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. So I'd be at work. Oh my God. And they used to laugh at me and say, your son called? Yeah. They always knew. But she's blessed that she had that opportunity to experience. I mean, hopefully moving forward without COVID, it'll be a little bit different. And eventually she'll be able to, if she continues overseas again, whether it's Hungary or anywhere else on the planet, where she'd be able to learn something different, you know what I mean, during her off season.
Yeah.
So how do you think she pushes herself to be as great as she is? And I ask you that because she seems to have such a competitive nature.
Yeah, she does push herself. When her shot, for example, if her shot isn't falling, she goes in a gym, and she practices, looks at film, looks at her old games. And it's interesting too. When Megan, got drafted, she would go back and look at her UConn games to see, just look at how she played in UConn. When she got traded to the Phoenix, to the Mercury, she went and she looked at the Mercury games and watched their style of play. So she would, know what her role was on that team. So I would say she's a student of the game. She's always trying to learn and be a student of the game.
I love the fact that you said she used to watch herself when she played at UConn, which is pretty smart because at the end of the day, that's what got her there. She's like, wait a minute, let me go back and see. Like, what did I do that was so wonderful there that I can grow? But at the beginning, this is where it all started for me, right? Like, you know what I mean? All those skills and everything I did there is putting me now with the Liberty and now with the Mercury. So let me look at that and see how I can make it better because they loved it.
Yeah.
It's true. So let's talk about that trade because she got traded with Kia Nurse. What was that trade like for her? Did she expect it? Did it make a difference?
No, she didn't expect it. She called me, she FaceTimed me and she said, guess what? And I was like, oh, what? She said, I got traded. I said, you did? What happened? She said, I got traded to the Mercury. She smiled.
Yeah.
I said, oh, so you're excited. She said, yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So how did they receive her?
Oh, they did. Oh, they sent her texts. All of the players and everybody sent her texts and was excited to see her. And what really made her feel comfortable, she saw Brittany while she was over in Hungary. They were at a tournament or something. Right. And she said, I saw Brittany and, Brittany said some kind words to her. And she said, I feel fine now. She said, I'm good, about, being traded. Right. She said, I talked to Brittany and, we had a wonderful conversation. So, she felt fine with it.
Wow. So For you now, being a basketball mom of a professional player is all new for you. So to date, what's the best piece of advice that you've received from anybody?
I've received?
Yep.
I would say just support. You have to, support your basketball player. Be patient, if it's a plan, let that plan play out. Just be patient, supportive, do as much as you can to help them, to be there, whether it's the 3:00 in the morning phone calls, all of that is important because you want to put them in a place where they're comfortable playing basketball, and you want them to feel comfortable, that they have support around them if they need it.
Right. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And before we get into the fun facts, what is it like for you being the courtside mom to Megan Walker?
Awesome. My Meg. Yay!
Say, go mom. Go mom. Yes, I love it. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So now let's learn some fun facts about your baby. Mm-hmm. What is that go-to dish that you make that she must always have?
She likes my spaghetti and turkey. She doesn't eat red meat, so she loves my spaghetti and the turkey meat. She loves that. So I always have to fix that for her. Yeah, she loves that.
I'm just curious. You said before that she cooks. So what does she make that you like?
I love her buffalo chicken dip.
Okay.
She makes an awesome buffalo chicken dip, and I love her deviled eggs.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's different. Mm-hmm. I haven't had deviled eggs since I was a child.
Yeah.
What is one childhood item she used to carry around with her that she just, other than a basketball, that she just didn't want to be without?
Of course, her phone.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Her phone. Yeah. Her phone.
It's funny because that's an answer that I guess the younger kids or the younger players, a phone would be possible because the kids were getting phones younger and younger. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So when I asked this question for moms and their sons or daughters are much older, they're like, phone? No such thing as a phone back then. So the mothers were like, I didn't even have a cell phone. So, so different, eh? So I think you were the first that said a phone. So yeah. Did you have a nickname for her? And if so, what was it?
Well, her name is Megan, so we always call her Meg. And then I would call her Maggie Kayla, Maggie Kayla, because her middle name is Kayla.
Right.
So, I would call her Maggie Kayla a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. But everybody calls her Meg.
Right. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Now let's ask some advice questions. You sort of answered this just now, but let's see. What advice would you give to another courtside mom about dealing with a coaching decision that she does not agree with?
Well, a lot of times, you probably wouldn't agree. If you don't agree, I would just suggest that of course, if Megan had a decision, a coaching decision she would agree with and she would share with me. The first thing I would tell Megan to do is, what did you talk to the coach about? You want to make sure that the player and the coach are on the same page. Yeah. Because it might be something else involved with the decision that maybe Megan didn't know about or maybe the coach didn't know about.
Right.
So I agree just, addressing it, just asking questions.
But what if it was another mother? What if you and another mom are sitting there watching the game and something happened and she does not like that decision? What would you advise her? Yep. What would you advise another mother?
Oh, about a foul or something like that?
Yep. The coach decided to do something. The coach decided to take her child out, and she don't like that decision, and she's losing her mind. What advice would you give to this mother?
Calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down, first calm down, just because she got out the game now, that doesn't mean that she's not going to get back in the game.
Right.
Just calm down and just, wait and see, what happens, because Megan has been taking out games and it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Things happen for a reason. So, you just have to let your emotions just, calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to decompress, eh?
Yeah. You just have to just, let everything calm down,
So now what advice would you give to a player about how to deal with a tough teammate?
Oh, I can give you an example. One time Megan told me one of her teammates was coming in late to practice or something, and the coach was not liking it or something. So when the player came in, Megan said something like, "Hey, where you been? You know what time it is?" or something, something to that nature. And it was like, yeah, I was in my room. She was like, well, you probably need to get here a couple minutes early because you don't want to make such and such mad,
Yeah.
So she kind of like made a joke of it, instead of, just attacking or just saying, you need to be on time.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to bring light to a situation in a different way so people understand. And good on Megan.
Yeah.
If you could only give one piece of advice to another courtside mom, what would it be?
Support, stay happy, enjoy the run, enjoy the run, travel, be there, and just enjoy the run. Just enjoy yourself. I am very happy to be able to see Megan's journey. It brings me so much joy, to see her dress up in her uniform and, to hear her talk about her games and her practices. She'll call me and she said, okay, we just finished practice. I said, well, how did practice go? She said, it was great. It was good. So it brings me so much joy to see her enjoying her journey.
Right.
So I would just, like to spread, just enjoy the journey, enjoy yourself, support, it'll all come full circle.
Great advice. I am so happy to have spent this time with you, Johnetta. Thank you so much for coming on Courtside Mom and just talking to us about yourself and to Megan and about Megan. And we wish her all the luck with the Mercury and her career as a whole. You be blessed and be safe.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Courtside Moms and make sure you subscribe to the podcast. You want done, baby? I do it naturally.